My husband walked out over one little kiss. At least that's what I thought. But when my best friends. Before we begin, a quick favor. If you enjoy content like this, please click the subscribe button and support the channel. This way you'll ensure you never miss amazing videos. I'm Cassie, 31, and I swear I never thought my marriage would blow up over something as stupid as going out dancing. Like, who even gets divorced over clubbing? But here I am, stuck in this empty house that still has Chase's stupid male uniform hanging in the closet, trying to figure out where everything went wrong. It started about a year ago when my work besties and I got into this routine of hitting up Sparkle on Friday nights. God, I needed those nights out after being stuck at Sunrise Insurance all week listening to people whine about their policies. My customer service job was draining my soul, and those Friday nights were the only thing keeping me sane. The music, the lights, the attention from guys who actually found me interesting. It was my escape. Chase never got it. He'd come home from his mail route all tired and grumpy, talking about how he just wanted to order pizza and watch a movie with me. Like, I get it. Your job is boring and you're tired. But I'm not trying to live like we're already retired. You'd give me these looks when I'd start getting ready, watching me do my makeup like I was betraying him or something. Do you have to wear that dress? It's basically asking for guys to hit on you, he said one night while I was finishing my eyeliner. I remember rolling my eyes so hard I messed up my wing and had to start over. Maybe I like being noticed sometimes. Just because we're married doesn't mean I have to dress like a nun. I fired back. God, why are you so insecure? That's when the real fight started. He'd say it wasn't about insecurity but respect for our marriage. Whatever that means. I wasn't cheating on him. So what if I danced with other guys? Or let them buy me drinks? That's just what happens at clubs. It's not like I was sleeping with them. I saw you give your number to that guy last weekend. Chase confronted me one Saturday morning when I was nursing my hangover with coffee. Megan's husband showed me the picture. We were networking. He works in insurance too, and I'm trying to get out of customer service. You're being so controlling right now. The truth was, the guy was super cute and getting his number gave me a little rush, but I wasn't planning on doing anything. Probably networking at 1 a.m. in the nightclub. Do you think I'm stupid, Cassie? Chase wasn't yelling, which was almost worse. His voice had this disappointed tone that made me feel like a child. And grinding on guys isn't networking. That's just how people dance. No, you would know that if you ever came out with us. But you're too busy being boring. I knew that would hurt him, but I was tired of being made to feel guilty for having fun. Chase shook his head. I work my ass off at a job that isn't glamorous, but it pays our bills, has great health insurance, and will give us a pension someday. I'm not boring. I'm responsible. Well, being responsible is boring me to death, I snapped, grabbing my purse. I'm meeting the girls for brunch. The truth was, Chase wasn't wrong about the attention thing. I loved how guys at the club would fall all over themselves to buy us drinks or get my attention. After 5 years of marriage, Chase barely noticed when I got a new haircut. But these guys would compliment everything from my eyes to my shoes. It felt good to be desired, to feel like I still had options. The whole situation really blew up at our Sunday brunch. We were at Bottomless, this cute little place downtown with unlimited mimosas, when Zoe dropped a bombshell that Tyler had given her an ultimatum about clubbing. Apparently, she'd missed their anniversary dinner to come dancing with us, and he was furious. He literally said, "It's either the clubs or him," Zoe said, stabbing at her avocado toast. Can you believe that garbage? That's straight up abusive, I declared, already on my third mimosa. Men who hate clubbing are just controlling. They can't stand the thought of their women having fun without them. Preach. Amber raised her glass. My ex was the exact same way, always tracking my location, blowing up my phone if I was out past midnight. Tyler's trying to isolate you, I continued, feeling righteous. That's like the first step in those abusive relationship articles. Cut you off from your friends. Megan nodded enthusiastically. Jeremy tried that crap once. I shut it down so fast his head spun. I told him either he trusts me or he doesn't. And if he doesn't, he can find the door. We all cheered and I felt so validated. These were my people, women who understood that just because we were in relationships didn't mean we had to surrender our independence. Unlike Chase, who acted like my going out was some personal attack on him. Chase is the same way, I said, rolling my eyes. He acts like I'm committing a crime just by having a good time. Last week he had the nerve to complain about some guy's cologne on my dress. Like, sorry, not sorry that men find me attractive. When I got home, Chase was in the backyard tending to his stupid tomato plants. Another thrilling Sunday in the life of a mailman. I marched right out there, still buzzing from brunch, in righteous indignation. You know what? You're just like Tyler, I announced without preamble. Chase looked up, confusion written all over his face. Who's Tyler? Zoe's controlling boyfriend. He gave her an ultimatum about clubbing, and we all agreed that men who try to stop their girlfriends from going out are insecure and controlling. Chase sighed and took off his gardening gloves. Did it ever occur to you that maybe Tyler has legitimate reasons to be upset? Like missing their anniversary? That's not the point, I snapped. The point is that you both think you own us. Newsflash, you don't. I've never once said you can't go out, Cassie, Chase said in that infuriatingly calm voice he uses when he thinks he's being the reasonable one. I've only asked for some basic respect. There's a difference between controlling someone and having boundaries in a marriage. Oh, please spare me the boundaries talk. You're just too weak and insecure to handle having a wife who other men find attractive. You're not the man I thought I married. The words flew out before I could stop them, but seeing him flinch gave me a rush of power. Later that night, I was scrolling through Instagram when my phone buzzed with a text. I angled it away from Chase, who was reading on the couch, but he noticed another one of your club friends. He asked, not looking up from his book. As a matter of fact, yes, I replied defiantly, though I felt a small stab of guilt at the hurt in his voice. His name is Denzel and he's wondering if I'm going to be at Sparkle on Friday. Chase set his book down. Denzel, the guy I've heard Megan giggling with you about. The one you described to her as so hot you almost melted. My face heated up. Have you been spying on my conversations? I have ears. And you and Megan aren't exactly quiet when you're on the phone. He stood up and walked toward our bedroom. Text your Denzel back. Tell him whatever you want. I'm going to bed. I really thought I had the upper hand by this point. Chase was miserable but not going anywhere, and I was having the time of my life with my girls and getting attention from hot guys like Denzel. It was the perfect setup until the neighborhood barbecue at the Johnsons' house. Chase and I had barely been speaking for 2 weeks, but we still had to keep up appearances. As we walked into the Johnsons' backyard, I plastered on my best happy wife smile while Chase carried the potato salad I'd bought at the grocery store on the way over. Because it was time to cook when you're living your best life. 3 glasses of later, I was feeling good and holding court with a group of women, including Megan and some neighbors I rarely spoke to. Somehow the conversation turned to relationships. And Karen, yes, an actual Karen, was complaining about how her husband never wants to go dancing anymore. Oh my god, men who hate clubbing are the worst. I announced loudly, making sure my voice carried across the yard. They're just controlling and insecure. Like, sorry, we want to have a little fun instead of sitting at home watching sports all night. I saw Chase's head turn from across the yard, but that only encouraged me. My husband acts like I'm committing a crime just because I like to go out dancing, I continued louder now. He literally checked my phone the other day because some guy texted me like, hello, I'm not your property. And God forbid another man buys me a drink or wants to dance with me. I rolled my eyes dramatically. You'd think I was having an affair instead of just having a good time. Some men are so weak they can't handle their wives getting a little attention. That's when I noticed the yard had gotten quieter. Several people were looking between me and Chase, who had gone completely still by the grill tongs frozen mid-flip over a burger that was definitely burning. About 20 minutes later, Chase approached our little group. Cassie, can we talk for a minute? We're kind of in the middle of a conversation here, I replied dismissively. I think you've already shared plenty with everyone, he said, his voice steady but tight. Now I'd like a word with my wife privately. What the hell was that? He asked when we were in a quiet corner. What? I was just talking with the girls. You were publicly humiliating me in front of our neighbors and friends. Do you have any idea how disrespectful that was? I scoffed. Oh please, I didn't even use your name. The shoe fits. Though the drive home was excruciating, Chase didn't say a word, just stared straight ahead with his jaw clenched. As soon as we got home, I started in on him again. You totally overreacted back there, I said, kicking off my shoes. Now everyone thinks we have problems. We do have problems, Cassie, he replied, sounding tired. Serious ones. And your response to being called out on your behavior is to blame me for reacting to it? That's not how healthy relationships work. Oh, now you're a relationship expert. Mailman has it all figured out. As soon as I said it, I knew I'd gone too low. Chase's job was a sore spot. He'd wanted to go to college for photography but had to start working right away to support his mom after his dad left. The postal service job was supposed to be temporary, but the stability and benefits kept him there. Something shifted in his eyes then, like a light dimming. I'm going to sleep in the spare room tonight, he said quietly. I don't even know who you are anymore. Friday night finally arrived, and I was more determined than ever to have an amazing time. Chase had barely spoken to me all week, sleeping in the spare room and leaving for his route before I woke up. Fine by me. I spent extra time getting ready, choosing my sexiest black dress, and doing a full face of makeup. Let him see exactly what he was trying to control. Don't wait up, I said coolly, grabbing my purse. He looked up from his book, his expression unreadable. Just be safe, Cassie. Something about his calm response irritated me more than anger would have. Whatever, I muttered, slamming the door behind me. Amber picked me up and we met Megan and Zoe at Sparkle. The club was packed, the music was pumping, and within minutes I'd pushed all thoughts of Chase from my mind. After our second round of drinks, I spotted Denzel at the bar. My heart actually skipped when our eyes met and he smiled that perfect smile. "Hey beautiful," he said when I approached. "I was hoping you'd be here tonight." "Wouldn't miss it," I replied, feeling a thrill as his eyes ran over my body. One drink turned into three and soon we were on the dance floor, his hands on my waist, my back pressed against his chest. I could feel his breath on my neck and it sent shivers down my spine. This was what I needed to feel wanted, desired, alive. "You're incredible," he whispered in my ear as we danced. "Your husband is the luckiest man alive." Denzel spun me around to face him, pulling me closer. "His loss," he murmured, his face inches from mine. I knew what was about to happen. I knew I should step back, make an excuse, find my friends instead. When he leaned in, I met him halfway. His lips were soft, his kiss confident in a way that made my knees weak. It lasted only seconds, but it crossed a line I had promised myself I wouldn't cross. I pulled away, suddenly aware of what I'd done. "I need to find my friends," I said quickly. "Can I see you again?" Denzel asked, still holding my hand. Without the club scene, the right answer was no. What came out was maybe text me the aftermath. By the time I took an Uber home, it was after 3 a.m. and I was praying Chase would be asleep. No such luck. The living room light was on and he was sitting on the couch, still fully dressed, his face a mask of calm that didn't reach his eyes. "Have a good time?" he asked quietly. "It was fine," I said, dropping my purse and kicking off my heels. "Just the usual, Denzel." There. My blood ran cold. "What?" Chase held up his phone. "Tina saw you. She sent me this." He turned the screen toward me, showing a photo of me and Denzel kissing on the dance floor. Tina was Dave's wife from the barbecue. I hadn't even known she was at Sparkle. "Chase, it's not what it looks like." I started, panic rising in my throat. He cut me off. "Please don't insult me by lying. It's exactly what it looks like. It was just a kiss. It didn't mean anything." I was desperate now, the gravity of what I'd done finally hitting me. "Just a kiss," he repeated hollowly. "Just like it was just dancing, just giving out your number. Just harmless fun." He stood up and I noticed a duffel bag by the door that I'd overlooked in my panic. "I've been patient, Cassie. I've tried to talk to you. I've given you space to enjoy your life. But I can't do this anymore." "You were leaving because of one stupid kiss?" I asked incredulously, my defense kicking in. "God, you're just as bad as Tyler." "This is exactly what I was talking about. You're so controlling that you'd throw away our marriage over nothing." Chase picked up his bag. "This isn't about control, Cassie. It's about respect. And you clearly have none for me or our marriage. So you're just going to run away? Real mature. This is exactly why I said you're weak. A real man would stay and work through problems." He paused at the door. "A real marriage requires two people who care about each other's feelings. I can't be the only one trying anymore." And then he was gone, the door closing softly behind him. The morning after, I stood frozen for a moment before anger took over. I grabbed my phone and furiously texted Megan. "Chase left. Says he's staying at his brother's. Can you believe he's overreacting this much over one stupid kiss?" I expected immediate support, but her response took several minutes. "I'm really sorry, Cass, but maybe this isn't just about the kiss." The next morning I woke up with a pounding headache and the cold reality that Chase hadn't come home. I grabbed my phone and saw several missed calls from him, probably from before Tina sent that photo. No new messages though. I called Amber first. "Chase left," I said as soon as she answered. What? She sounded genuinely shocked. "Someone sent him a picture of me kissing Denzel at the club." He completely overreacted and stormed out, saying he's staying at his brother's. "Oh my God, Cass, are you okay?" Her concern unleashed everything I'd been holding back. I spent 20 minutes ranting about how controlling Chase was, how unfair it was that he would throw away. Amber made sympathetic noises, but something felt off about her responses. "We should go out tonight," I finally said. "I need to blow off some steam." Amber hesitated. "I kinda have plans with Brian tonight." Rain check. "Seriously? My marriage is falling apart and you're ditching me for your boyfriend? It's our anniversary, Cass. We've had these reservations for months." I hung up on her and immediately called Zoe, who also made excuses about why she couldn't meet up. Even Megan, my most reliable party friend, claimed she was coming down with something. The next week was a blur of unanswered texts to friends and sleepless nights. When Friday rolled around, I decided to go to Sparkle alone, desperate for the familiar comfort of music and attention. The club felt different without my girls. I sat at the bar nursing an overpriced cocktail, checking my phone every few minutes. After an hour, I spotted Megan and Amber across the room, the same friends who had been too busy to meet up with me. They hadn't even told me they were going out tonight. As I watched in disbelief, Zoe and Tyler joined them. Tyler, who Zoe had been ready to dump over his clubbing ultimatum just weeks ago. I marched over to their table. "Well, Nice to see my so-called friends having fun without me. The guilt on their faces was immediate, but none of them rushed to apologize. Cassie, Megan started carefully. We didn't think you'd want to come after everything. After what? After my husband overreacted and left me. I thought you guys would support me. Amber exchanged glances with Zoe before speaking. We love you, Cass, but what happened with Chase wasn't just about one kiss. What's that supposed to mean? It means, Zoe said gently, that we've all been uncomfortable with how you've been treating Chase for a while now. The public put-downs, the disrespect. You're taking his side? I couldn't believe what I was hearing. There aren't sides, Megan said. But if you want the truth, yes, we think you crossed some lines. Chase is a good guy who works hard and loves you. He never tried to stop you from going out. He just wanted some basic respect. I can't believe this, I said, my voice rising. You're the ones who agreed with me about controlling men. There's a difference between controlling and having boundaries, Tyler interjected. Zoe and I worked things out because we both compromised. That's what adults in relationships do. I felt like I'd stepped into an alternate reality where all my friends had been replaced by pod people. So you're all just going to abandon me? Nice, real nice. No one's abandoning you, Amber insisted. We're just worried about you. And honestly about how you treated Chase. I love how everyone's concerned about poor Chase's feelings, but no one cares that my husband walked out on me. He didn't just walk out, Megan said quietly. You pushed him away, Cass. And from what I hear, he tried to talk to you about it many times before leaving. I turned and walked out, tears streaming down my face. The ultimate betrayal wasn't Chase leaving. It was my friends taking his side. A month passed and life settled into a new, lonelier rhythm. The house felt too big, too quiet without Chase. My clubbing group had fractured beyond repair, with most of the girls maintaining polite but distant contact. Then the envelope arrived. Divorce papers delivered by courier. Chase wasn't even serving me in person. I sat at the kitchen table, staring at his name printed in cold legal font, finally allowing myself to face the reality that my marriage was over. I called my sister Rachel, the one person who had always been brutally honest with me. Chase is filing for divorce, I said when she answered, my voice breaking. I'm sorry, Cass, she said, sounding genuinely sympathetic, though I can't say I'm surprised. What's that supposed to mean? Rachel sighed. You want the truth? You've been treating that man like garbage for a long time. I love you, but I've watched you belittle him, disrespect him, and push every boundary he tried to set. Not you too, I groaned. I was just having fun. Why does everyone act like I committed some horrible crime? How would you feel if Jace was grinding on women at clubs? If he was kissing them and giving them his number? If he publicly humiliated you in front of your friends and neighbors? The question stopped me cold. That's different, I said weakly. Why? Because you're a woman? Because you think men should just accept whatever behavior you dish out? For the first time, I really tried to imagine how I would feel if the roles were reversed. The thought of Chase dancing with another woman, kissing her, coming home smelling like her perfume. A knot formed in my stomach. I messed up, I finally admitted, my voice small. I texted Chase asking if we could meet to talk. After several hours, he replied that he would meet me at a coffee shop to discuss the divorce proceedings, but that was it. Seeing him walk into the cafe was like a punch to the gut. He looked good, tired but good. He'd gotten a haircut and was wearing a shirt I'd never seen before. The realization that his life was continuing without me hit hard. Thank you for meeting me, I said as he sat down across from me. What did you want to discuss? His tone wasn't cold exactly, but it lacked the warmth I was used to. I don't want a divorce, I blurted out. I made mistakes, Chase. Serious ones. But we can work through this. Chase was quiet for a long moment, studying his coffee cup. Cassie, I spent months trying to work through things with you. Every time I brought up how your behavior made me feel, you dismissed me. You called me weak, insecure, controlling. You humiliated me in front of our friends and then you cheated. It was just a kiss, I said automatically, then caught myself. I know it was wrong. I'm not excusing it. It wasn't just a kiss, Chase said, his voice steady. It was the culmination of a pattern of disrespect. You made it clear that your desire for attention from other men was more important than our marriage. That's not true. I love you, always have. Love involves respect, Cassie, and you haven't respected me or our marriage for a long time. The truth of his words stung. I can change, I insisted. I've learned my lesson. Chase gave me a sad smile. I think you've learned that actions have consequences. That's not the same as understanding why your behavior was wrong in the first place. What do you want me to say? That I was selfish? Fine, I was selfish. That I took you for granted. I did. I'm admitting it. The problem is that you're only admitting it now that you're facing the consequences, Chase said quietly. If Tina hadn't sent that photo, if I hadn't left, would you have ever reconsidered your behavior? I wanted to say yes, but we both knew the answer was no. I tried, Cassie. For months I tried talking to you, compromising, being patient. But relationships only work when both people care about each other's feelings. I deserve better than being treated like an inconvenience in your life. The finality in his voice made my chest tight. So that's it? All these years and you're just done? As he said simply. I'm done. I watched him leave the coffee shop, feeling like my life was unraveling. I'd been so convinced that Chase would always be there that I could push and push without him ever reaching his breaking point. I'd taken his patience for weakness, his stability for granted. Back at home, my home now, I supposed, I scrolled through our wedding photos, remembering how certain I'd been that we would be together forever. How had we gone from that day to divorce papers on my kitchen table? In my heart, I knew I still hadn't fully accepted responsibility. Yes, the kiss with Denzel was wrong. Yes, I should have listened to Chase's concerns. But part of me still believed he had overreacted, that if he really loved me he would have forgiven me, that his leaving said more about his character than mine. As I put the wedding album away, I rehearsed what I would tell my next boyfriend about my failed marriage. We grew apart. Seemed simpler than I disrespected him until he couldn't take it anymore. We wanted different things. Was easier than I prioritized attention from other men over his feelings. Maybe someday I'd fully understand my role in destroying my marriage. For now, all I knew was that my actions had cost me my husband, many of my friends, and the life I had taken for granted. And the worst part was, I still wasn't entirely sure why everyone thought I was the villain in this story.